Hi, everybody. I'm Rosemary, and this is my recipe romp. And like Nero said, this helps build traditions, and you can really get your children involved, help them wash the vegetables, mix up spices, things like that. So the first recipe I'm going to give you is my rosemary roasted potatoes. It's real simple. It serves about 4 people. All you need is about 2 pounds of washed small red potatoes. Don't peel them, just quarter them. 2 cloves of cut up garlic, a tablespoon of rosemary, about a tablespoon of olive oil, and a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. All you have to do is preheat the oven, mix it to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Mix everything together, pour it in a really greased 9x13 baking dish, and just bake it at 450 for about 35-40 minutes. And then eat it. Delicious. It's really good with ketchup, too. It's kind of like French fries. Also, a good one is lemon basil green beans. And what you need is about a 1/4 cup chopped fresh basil, or about a tablespoon of, what you get in the grocery store aisle. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a tablespoon of olive oil, 1 clove of garlic, a 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon pepper, and just 1 pound of fresh green beans. You got to mix, all your spices together, and then cover it, mix it, let it sit for a little bit while you wash the beans, cut them, trim the ends off. Then you just cover the green beans with some water in a pot, boil the water, and then keep on boiling for about 6 to 8 minutes, however crispy or tender you want your green beans. And all you got to do is drain them, pour your marinade over the beans, and some people like to let it stand about room temperature for about 45 minutes to eat it, but I like to eat it warm too. So just whichever way you want to do it. And then moving on is a chicken with like an artichoke spinach cream sauce. Pretty good. Just need about 8 raw chicken tenders, about 5 tablespoons flour, a 1/4 cup of butter, a 6-ounce jar of marinated artichoke hearts, and these are even better than the fresh ones, and you'll see why. And then a cup of milk. Just, pound your chicken with a meat mallet or rolling pin or something until they're about 1/4 inch thickness, and then coat them with about 2 tablespoons of the flour, and then stick it in a large skillet over medium heat with about 2 tablespoons of your butter. When you add the chicken, just cook for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side, and that'll pretty much get them done. Then just stick them on a plate while you get your sauce done, because it doesn't take very long at all. All right. First off, drain your artichoke hearts, but save the liquid. You just have to separate them so you can chop up the hearts in about bite-sized pieces. And you got to chop up your, and the spinach, scrap the spinach. About 2 cups of fresh spinach chopped up. And you can just set this with the side. And then, all right, you're going to melt 2 tablespoons of the butter in a heavy saucepan over low heat. And then mix in 3 tablespoons of flour. And you just mix it up until it's pretty smooth. And then you add the milk, your cup of milk, your artichoke liquid, and your spinach leaves. Add that kind of gradually. Turn it on up to medium heat and keep on stirring until it's pretty thick and bubbly. Then you stir in the artichoke heart at the very end, and then you've got your sauce for as little or as much as you want over your chicken. All right, now for dessert as part. This is a really good one, and it's really fun for the kids because they get to pick out pretty much everything for it. It's a good one for them. You just need a quart of softened ice cream, whichever flavor you want, 1 of the chocolate cookie crumb pie crust, 1 jar of about 15 ounces of an ice cream topping like caramel, chocolate, pineapple, whatever, and 3 crumbled up candy bars. And if you want some cherries to top it off with, those too. You just spread the ice cream in the crust and then cover it and stick it in the freezer again until it's pretty firm. You spread a cup of the topping over the ice cream, sprinkle the candy bars on top, and then you take whatever's left over of the ice cream topping, just drizzle it over the top, stick the cherries on, cut it up, and eat. And then, if you've got some adults around and would like a few adult drinks, a really good one is one of my friends came up with, the Slut Puncher. Sounds mean, but it's really not. You need 2 liters of strawberry soda, 2 liters of Mountain Dew, 1 can pineapple juice, the little 6-ounce individual cans, and 1 pint of vodka. You mix half of the strawberry soda, half of the Mountain Dew, can of pineapple juice, 1 pint of vodka, and you're done. It's really good, suggestive. But All right, I'm going to let y'all go. And thanks for listening. And I'm going to send you off to Nero, who's going to have some tips for any beginners out there. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
And I just want to say one thing about the Slut Puncher drink. It's good. Doesn't taste like it has much alcohol in it. So if you got that special someone that you're trying to convince that you want to have some time alone with them, this is the drink to give them, because they'll never know what hit them, you know? Now let's get into the tip for beginners for this month. I was originally going to talk about candle dressing, but I decided to change it to talking a little bit about a different way to do your packs. When most people do their packs, they fill them out, and they put a little spot of blood, and then they forget about them. They spend their time on the shelf, and they collect dust, and most people don't reread their packs. So what I'd like to do is propose a different way to look at doing your packs. Once you do them, once you make your pact with Satan or any other demon, what I'd like to suggest to you do, so that you don't lose your way, because in this day and age with the Satanism community being the way it is, and with life being the way it is, it's very easy to forget the original reason why you got into Satanism in the first place. So once you make your pact, you make another pact, you copy it down, and then you summarize it in bullet point form, and you put it in your magical diary, and you keep the second copy, and you basically use that to meditate on once a week, once you burn your original pact. And it just keeps you focused on what was important to you. Now, if you're a Levian, obviously you don't believe in the literal existence of Satan, you believe in him as a symbol, you can still do the same thing. You can still bullet point your beliefs and your ideas and what matters to you and the things that you want to achieve, and use it as a guideline to keep you anchored, so that you don't forget why you're doing all this. Because it's so easy with everybody fighting with each other and with lives being busy the way they are to forget you're doing this and why you got into Satanism in the first place. So if you'll just meditate with a candle once a week on why you did this, and keep your pact in front of you in your magical diary, or at least a copy of it, it'll keep you from, losing your way, and it'll keep you from feeling lost. And you'll stay focused, and you'll be more effective as a Satanist, because you'll remember why you're doing this. If you always put your pact away, or you burn it, you can't remember why you're doing it. You can't remember the promises that you made to the demons or to Satan. And this is a way to always keep them in the forefront of your mind and remember why you're doing it, like I said. And that's my tip for the month. I think it's very important. I think over the years, I've met a lot of Satanists, especially young Satanists, beginning Satanists, who have told me, I don't have any direction. I've kind of lost my way. I don't know what to do. Well, if you bullet point your pact, you'll always have that as your guide, your anchor in Satanism. I know it's a very simple suggestion. I know it's not a big deal, but it's something that people often overlook. And also, just for those of you who are wondering, I've also had this question a lot. Does it matter whether you put a drop of blood, or do you have to put more blood than just a drop? The truth is, it doesn't matter. It's all about personal preference, whatever you think is most appropriate, and whatever you agree to between you and the demon. And like I said, for those of you Levians, you may not believe in demons, but at least you can use this as a method to remember why you got into it in the first place. And I hope that helps you, and I hope to hear from you about how you feel about this suggestion. And as always, you can contact me at podcast@devilsmarkpublishing.com if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like to hear us talk about.
And there is one thing I would like to add at the tail end of Nero's little thing. Is that about pacts? Is that I know a lot of people, because of things they've been taught online from certain individuals, some people teach that it's a good idea to burn your pact after you make it. But the thing is burning your pact, you will never be able to look back at it unless you had made a copy. And the thing about burning your pact is it's not a very widespread thing, even if some people will tell you that, and I personally think it's a bad idea. And when I was younger, when I was, about 10 years ago, when I was 14, when I made my first pact with Satan, I read stuff like that, and I decided to do that, and I've regretted it ever since. And also, if you believe Michael Aquino, LaVey had a pact with Satan, and if you want to use any evidence of when you should burn a pact, is if you believe Aquino's story, is that LaVey did burn his pact, but LaVey burned his pact years after making it. And if you go by LaVey's example, burning a pact is when you are basically canceling a pact. So for those of you out there who got that stuff sitting around on your computer for pact instructions, don't go around burning your pacts unless you really want to. I mean, I can't stop you, but I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, in LaVey's case, he basically burned it to release himself from it, according to Aquino. That's the way we kind of got it. But in the tradition that I follow, in the tradition of most of my friends, with the exception of Brother Obitus here, we burn the pact to send it to Satan, to seal it. So there are different ways of doing this, and everybody has different methods. But the main thing is, like I said, just to have something so that you can remind yourself what you committed to. Because far too many people make the pacts and they sign them, and then they forget what they even promised. They forget what commitments they've made. And if you believe in these spiritual entities and you believe they have power and you believe your pacts are eternal, then you better know what you committed to, and you better assess whether you're living up to that obligation, those obligations.
Yeah. And one last thing, because we've taken this part a little bit too much further than we already have, but one last thing I want to add is, for those of you who did burn your pacts, if what we've been saying is making you feel bad about doing that, my suggestion is to do what I did. Is years later, I simply did another one in a fancy book, kept it, and did another one later. Not to replace the first one, but to still have one to be able to look at to remind myself. And if you burned it, and if you do feel bad about it, well, if you can remember everything you wrote in it, that's fine. You could just write it back down. And if you do feel the need to redo another one in blood, that's fine too. It's up to you. It's your own thing.
We'll be right back after this commercial break.
If you have a question or comment, call us now at 323-784-3640. Or if you're listening to us on the recording, give us a text or voicemail and we'll try to get you on a new show. Send us those at 361-356-7168.
Satanism, A Beginner's Guide to the Religious Worship of Satan and Demons, Volume 1, Philosophy. The new book and the first book by Brother Nero, Satanist minister with over 20 years of experience, brought to you by Devil's Mark Publishing. The topics covered in this book include living a satanic lifestyle, raising your children in Satanism, how to conduct basic prayer rituals, and also included are the holy texts, recognized by most traditional Satanists. The book is available from Amazon.com and DevilsMarkPublishing.com, so go ahead and get your copy today.